What's up, guys? It's Saturday, March 22nd, and I've got the house all to myself, so I'm finally going to start working on one of my personal projects. About 15 years ago, I had a batch of songs, like 6 or 7, that didn't really fit with any of the bands I was in. Like, it just was kind of in between what those guys were trying to do. So I didn't really have anything to do with them. So I borrowed my buddy's Roland 8-track digital workstation and recorded a demo. That project was called Warcaster. No effects, no compression, no EQ to speak of, really. Just like pure raw signal, halfway mixed. It sounded like shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. The end result was not good. I think I made it a free download and maybe 5 people grabbed it for free, so I really couldn't even give it away. It was good enough as a proof of concept to recruit people to start a band. So I got my buddy Andy on guitar, Drew Smith on bass. We eventually got Chris Ramey to play drums on it. We had a couple of good shows, and then Drew had to leave the band, so we got our other buddy Alfred from Hattiesburg to sit in, and he's incredible. It took him like no time to learn the stuff and just kind of show up at these gigs that we played. So we played a handful of shows, nothing spectacular, but we got a little bit of a following out of it. And we brought Shane Jones, who's in the Palindromes. We brought him in on bass, but before we could really, move forward with it, we lost our drummer, so it just kind of fizzled out. The way things go in a small town like this, it's hard to keep a band together, especially like any kind of metal band. That was probably 7 to 10 years ago, and I just kind of forgot about it. I worked on some other stuff, did some other things. So over the past year, I started writing some more for Warcaster. I got about 7 songs now that are written. About half of them are demoed. I did crappy demos with my electronic kit just so I could write them. And now it's time for the drum tracks. So that's what I'm doing today. My goal is to get 4 songs out of the way with at least 2 usable takes of the drum tracks each. I'm shooting for 4, but if I get 2, that's fine. I can deal with that. So I've been learning to record and recording a lot of demos in the last 5 years or so. And something I've really made peace with is no take is going to be perfect. It's easy in the moment to get frustrated and just stop. And I messed up that one little thing and now I've got to start all over. My advice, if you record, this is any instrument, I don't care if you're in a band, if you're doing a home project, keep going. Because when you listen back to it, you might say, it wasn't that big of a mistake. Nobody's going to notice. I'm the only one that notices. I've got a lot of songs where if I had obsessed over every little mistake, I just would have never finished any of them. So that's one thing I've made peace with. Goal is to make some progress today. If that's 1 song, if that's 5 songs, whatever it is, forward momentum, and let's get to it. I got 4 usable tracks. They're not perfect. I'm probably going to take another run at them, but I'm old and I need a break. So I'm going to get something to eat and maybe tackle this again in a little while. So, but I've got 4. That was my goal. They're good enough I could use to really work on the guitar parts. Let me do that later. So I'm going to give a listen to the couple of the other songs and see if I can knock those out too. So but that's about it for now. It's really, recording drums really takes the love out of drums.
I've got another confession to make.
I love playing drums. I've always loved it. But I hate recording drums. It's the most tedious and frustrating thing in the world. The only thing I can really equate it to, at least the way I record, I don't punch in, I don't duplicate tracks and like edit stuff together. I mean, I can, but it kind of ruins the spirit of what I'm trying to do. So I don't really record that way. I also don't record to a click. You can probably hear that because my tempo is kind of crappy sometimes, but it's not that I don't believe in a grid and clicks and all that stuff. It's just I'm not good at it.
Bingo.
When I have a click in my ear, I start focusing too much on it. Instead of playing with the click, I'm playing to the click, and I'm hyper obsessive about, like, oh my God, am I getting off?
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
I don't know.
Start counting.
5, 6, 7.
In 4, damn it! Look at me!
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. No.
Was I rushing or was I dragging?
Before you know it, like the drums I'm not playing very well. So I think my tempo's okay enough to get away without using it. So here's a little background on my setup. And I'm not bragging at all because you're about to see what kind of Hudson's treasure hunt type setup I've got here. I'm only showing this because you don't need a lot of fancy gear to record. All right, so this is it. That's really all there is to it. I've got mics, and I've got an interface and a mixer and a laptop. This is just a regular HP laptop. I have customized it a bit. I doubled the RAM and put a larger hard drive in it. I doubled the RAM just to make this whole process a lot smoother. I don't get as many crashes now. And the software I use is Cakewalk, and it's free. They have a free version of this. You can go download it, and you got to like create an account with your email address, but it hasn't cost me any money, and I've been able to do pretty much anything I want to with it. There are some plugins that cost money, but a lot of the stock plugins are perfectly fine. You've got compressors, you've got reverbs, several different EQs. Like it really does everything I need it to do. Of course, I'm not like a super professional or anything. One area I did screw up with is the Behringer Euphoria 4-channel interface. When I originally bought this stuff, I was just going to be using it for writing, so I didn't plan on miking all the drums. So I just got a 4-channel, and my idea was it would be kick, snare, and 2 overheads. And the 2 overheads would pick up the toms, because, you know, if you're just writing and demoing stuff, like, that's all you need, as long as you can hear it a little bit. Then I started really working on it, and I was like, man, some of these songs are cool. I wish I could, like, hear the toms, because you really couldn't. So my workaround, I had this mixer already. So basically I'm running rack tom, floor tom, running it through here, doing a basic EQ on it, and then running all 3 of these signals to channel number 3. So it's not ideal at all, because I kind of have to have the toms dialed in before it even gets here. And that's a complicated process, because I can't do any EQ on the back end, because now that all the toms are kind of in one channel, each tom has its own voice, so the EQ and the compression is going to be slightly different. I found a pretty good middle ground for all three of them. So the only mistake I really did make, I should have bought the 8-channel, and it was like $100 extra, and it really would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of hassle. Kick drum mic is it's a Shure. It's one of the betas, but it's not the good one. It's the entry level one, but it sounds really good to me. These are CAD tom mics, not the world's best, but I ended up using a tom mic on the snare instead of like an SM58 or 57 because I like the amount of low mid frequency that these mics pick up. So I actually like the way it sounds on the snare. So one overhead. I don't have the inputs to use two overheads. I basically had to choose between having my toms in the mix or having two overheads. So it kind of was out of my control. I had to go with one overhead, but it picks up everything pretty well. This is what I'm working with. Hopefully when all's said and done, it'll sound good. So like, it's incredible what is there for free. Like Cakewalk, I remember when I was a kid, you'd be looking through the back of like your musician's friend catalog or whatever, and oh man, one day I'm gonna have $1,200 or whatever, so I can buy this Cakewalk software. It was in a box set. Now it's free. I mean, it's crazy. Pro Tools has a free version. Pretty much everybody has a free version of their editing software. So, like, as bad as things are for artists as far as compensation, like, as far as actually being creative and making music, this is the best time to be alive. Like, you can do stuff in your bedroom that you used to have to book studio time for. But now, software is free. YouTube has tutorials on how to use all the plugins, and you can learn the essentials of mixing and mastering. There are no barriers to entry for music anymore. There are industry-wide problems, but I just want to make music. So I'm going to get back to work. It's not that hard. The individual parts aren't that hard. It's just whoever wrote this is an idiot. So I don't know if I have the energy to do this one today, but it's the last one. So I might call it a day, try this again, a fresh start. I'm totally washed for today, which is normal for a man of my size and my age. But I knocked out five or six passable drum takes that I think are going to work. I'm gonna fire up the guitar here in a little bit after I have a minute to sit down and play along to what I did today and make sure the tempos are good. I did a demo a while back, and the drums were super good take. I mean, perfect. I nailed it, but it was way too fast, and I couldn't play the guitar up to the tempo that I had recorded the drums. So I'm gonna go through it, make sure I don't have to redo anything, or if there's anything that just stands out as being egregiously terrible, it needs to be redone. If it's all passable, then I'm gonna be okay with it. But I got a lot done today. If nothing else, I can demo this stuff in a better way. Cutting a good demo just for me. I can put it on my phone and then listen to it in the truck, listen to it while I'm at work. Like really absorb what I've done, what the song structures are. Do I want to change anything? Do I want to swap anything around? And then if I get the time to go back later and do a final track, then I can make those changes. But pretty good for a Saturday. It's more drum tracking than I've done in several years, so I hope it all sounds good. I'll let you know. That's it for Saturday. I'm gonna go through some of the video and see if I can make a YouTube out of this. I'm gonna play some guitar. I'm gonna have a beer. That's about it.